What if I told you that running slower 80% of your time is the fastest way to improve? That's the whole idea behind the 80-20 training principle. In this video, I'm gonna tell you what it is, how you know if you're running too hard, and how to structure a week using the 80-20 training principle. So let's dive directly in. What is it? Most simple way to say it, 80% of your runs should be easy. Only 20% of your runs should be hard. Why? Because running is very stressful for our body. We have to give our body the time to absorb the stress and absorb those training impulses. But what is hard and what is easy? The best way to explain is by looking at your heart rate zones. So the most used model has 5 main zones. Zone 1 is very light. Zone 2 is light. Zone 3 is moderate. Zone 4 is hard. And zone 5 is maximum. 1 is also seen as recovery. 2 is endurance. 3 steady state. 4 is lactate threshold. And 5 is VO2 max. If you want to compare it with your paces, you could say zone 1 is jogging. Zone 2 is jogging up until marathon. Zone 3 is half marathon to marathon. Zone 4 is your 10K and zone 5 is your 5K or shorter. Now zone 1 and 2 is easy for most of us. Zone 5, 4 and 3 is hard. But when you're an experienced runner, especially a long distance runner, you can run fast with a low heart rate. For example, ultra runner Kilian Jornet, when he's running 100 miles in the mountains, his heart rate hardly leaves zone 2. So that means for him, training in zone 2 is already hard. He should actually do his easy runs in zone 1. There are different ways to monitor your heart rate. Nowadays, most sport watches can do it. They measure your heart rate at your wrist. Or the heart rate monitors you can strap around your chest or around your upper arm. But what if you don't have one of those, or you don't know your heart rate zone, so you don't know when you're running hard or when you're running easy? In that case, you could do either the talk test or you could do the nose breathing test. The talk test is very simple. If you're running and you can speak in full sentences without gasping for air, you are running easy. The nose breathing test is very simple as well. If you're running and you can breathe in and out through your nose without having to use your mouth for extra air, you're running easy. In both cases, if you can't, it means you're running too fast. Just out of curiosity, let me know in the comments how you measure your heart rate and how you know if you run easy or if you run hard. So why does this 80-20 training help you to become faster? For that, we have to go back to our heart rate zones. Most runners and also cyclists without a plan tend to always work out in this zone 3. It feels nice. We're working, we're sweating, it's hard, a little bit uncomfortable, but not too hard. But we have this idea that we're doing something where actually we might not. This is the reason why most sport scientists call this the gray zone. It doesn't create enough stress to improve our speed. At the same time, it creates too much stress to allow for good recovery. So we end up tired, but not any faster. It does have a place in our training program, but only if we work towards a marathon. Then zone 3 can be useful. Otherwise, you don't want to work out there. I admit, I've been guilty of doing this as well. In the beginning, when I started to run, I was always running kind of around my half marathon pace. I had no clue about zones or how I had to structure my training. Please let me know in the comments if you were guilty of that as well. So I don't feel like I was the only one. To become faster, we need a varied training approach. We have to work out in that zone 4 and 5, those uncomfortable, hard zones, to run a faster pace and to hold that faster pace for a longer time by raising our lactate threshold. So could you just do those hard trainings and lay on the sofa for the rest of the time? I'm sorry, but no. We also have to run slow, because if we run slow, a whole range of beneficial physiological adaptations are happening in our body. The most important of that is we improve our endurance. And keep in mind that even a 5-kilometer race is still an endurance race. On top of that, by running more, we are improving our running economy. In other words, we can run by using less energy, and the energy we're saving we can use again to run faster. So now you know that you need both your slow days and your hard days, but how do you put this in a structured schedule? Let me explain. First of all, when we talk about 80% of your runs should be easy and 20% of your runs should be hard, we're not talking about per run. It's not that when you go out for a 10K, you're gonna run 8 kilometers easy and 2 kilometers hard. We talk about all your runs together. So we talk about the amount of training sessions. 80% of those sessions should be easy, 20% of those sessions should be hard. It's easiest to put it into days. So for every 10 days, 2 days should be hard days, 8 days should be easy days. Now most of us runners don't work with 10-day schedules, we work with weekly schedules. So I'm gonna make it a little bit more simple for you so it fits onto your weekly plan. But before I do that, I have to dive into the history behind this 80-20 training concept just for a moment. This concept is based on the research done by the American exercise physiologist Stephen Seiler. When he looked at all the training sessions, all the data of the top elite athletes, cross-country skiers, runners, cyclists, all endurance athletes, he discovered that what they do is 80% of the time they train easy, 20% of the time they train hard. Now most of us don't train that hard. We don't reach the same speed as this top athlete. So we put a little less stress on our body. So we can make this 80-20 concept a little bit looser. It actually fits our week by making it into a 70-30 concept. Because if you do that, it means every week you're gonna have 2 hard days and 5 easy days. So how would a weekday then look? For example, Monday is your rest day. Tuesday is a hard day with an interval in the morning and a strength training in the evening. Wednesday becomes an easy day. Thursday is a day for cross training. Great would be to do some yoga to keep your flexibility. Friday again is a hard training, interval work with another strength session in the evening. Saturday is easy running. And Sunday is a long run, but you keep that long run an easy long run. Okay, I hope this explains it. If you want me to create an 80-20 training plan for beginners, just let me know in the comments. Subscribe for more information so you're gonna train smarter instead of harder. Keep on running.